Number 11. So he said to them, whoever divorces his wife and marries another commits adultery against her. And if a woman divorces her husband and marries another, she commits adultery.
Period.
Period.
Like,
There's nothing beyond that.
hello, everybody. My name is Mary.
I'm Gabriel.
This is going to be about why divorce is not godly, why divorce was not something that God wanted from the very beginning. Just a little context, this is Jesus and the Pharisees. Okay, Jesus is teaching and the Pharisees came over to ask him a question, just like they constantly did. So, and the Pharisees, this is on Mark 2, so 10:2. And the Pharisees came to him and asked him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife? Tempting him. Emphasis on tempting him. They're trying to entrap him. And he answered and said unto them, what did Moses command you? And they said, Moses suffered to write a bill of divorcement and to put her away. And Jesus answered and said unto them, for the hardness of your heart he wrote you this precept. But from the beginning of the creation God made them male and female. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. So then they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let not man put asunder. And in the house his disciples asked him again of the same matter. And he said unto them, whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another commits adultery against her. And if a woman shall put away her husband and be married to another, she commits adultery.
Okay, starting with number 2. The Pharisees came and asked him, is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife? Testing him. Of course, they were asking God, Jesus a question, and that question is not so they could like be nice. They were actually like trying to find some sort of fault in it, right? But Jesus answered and said to them, what did Moses command you? They said, Moses permitted us to write a certificate of divorce and divorce her. Again, we do it in today. As simple as, you know what, I don't want to talk. I'm tired of your shenanigans, whatever. And we just thought I might go to court, get a divorce. That's your cut. This is my cut, and peace. That's it. Find another woman, right, or another man.
Well, because it's easy, right? That's what
It's
our desire
simple.
is.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with you.
Mm-hmm.
So heck no, we can't see eye to eye. Irreconcilable differences. I think that's what the main I guess reason why people get divorced. That's literally what they say. Oh,
We don't.
we
We
couldn't
don't.
reach an agreement.
Yeah, we don't want to deal with. I don't want to deal with your things, and you don't want to deal with mine. We can't come to an agreement, so let's just get divorced.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. The initial love that we had for one another goes poof. But here's the thing, okay? Then Jesus answered and said to them, because of hardness of your hearts, he wrote you this precept. Basically, a precept would be like an
Well,
agreement.
it's a document, right?
Yeah,
Like kind of like see like
a document.
a waiver, like oh hey, like you get to a
But let's
license
go back
to
to this
divorce.
interesting part. He said, because of your hardening of heart.
Hardness of heart will leave you feeling unfeeling, irresponsive, unmoved, insensitive. You won't be able to perceive or understand the other person. That's what that means. Stubbornness too. That's one of the main ones, right?
Okay,
Close mindedness.
so because we're stubborn, then Moses said, oh, you guys are so stubborn, you can't understand how it was meant to be here. Because he was trying to please the people at the time.
I think he was trying to appease them, right? Like, so he was trying to calm them. Like, here you go, since you're so hard of heart, right? And the Bible talks so much about that. But in this case, they were hard of heart with that. Like, they didn't want to stay with their wives. They found their own reasoning, right, for why they wouldn't want to stay with their spouse.
Yeah. So basically, because we're stubborn and we just want it our way, Moses was like, here, then fine. I'll give you guys permission to make up a certificate of divorce, leaving your wife, and be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
But and we come back that Jesus says, okay, but on number 6, but from the beginning of the creation, God made them male and female. For this reason, the male shall leave his father and his mother and be joined with his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So then they are no longer two, but not two, but one. Therefore, what God has joined, together, let no man separate. So if we go back to the beginning, God made man, Adam, and then out of Adam, he made Eve. Out of one flesh, he made two. And out of those two, we become one. So this was meant, God idea of it was for two people to come together, male and female, let's not get it wrong, and they become one. And they love one another. But because we became so stubborn and just, I want it my way, which we always wanted our way, instead of following the way that is commanded to us by God and Jesus.
And speaking of that, I just wanted to add on that it is very natural for us to be selfish. And I know that's awful, like to admit to yourself, oh my gosh, I'm actually selfish. But I mean, we catch ourselves doing it all the time. We're not. I feel like I'm more selfish sometimes than you are. For me, it's not very natural. Like I'm a pretty selfish person. I was at one point, and now I catch myself. Oh, this isn't. If it's just about me, and it's not going to edify him, then.
So we understand that God meant it to be two people coming together. Mm-hmm. That was since the beginning of creation. That's the way it was meant to be.
And I know some people will say, some people will say that whatever God has joined together, let no man separate, right? So some people will be like, well, yeah, but what if you're unequally yoked? And what if, and we'll talk about that later as well, of you married the wrong person, right?
Yeah. There's a lot to that too.
Sometimes God doesn't tell you to marry that person, and that's why disobedience is not good.
Number 11. So he said to them, whoever divorces his wife and marries another commits adultery against her. And if a woman divorces her husband and marries another, she commits adultery.
Period.
There's nothing beyond that. So the reason he said this was because in reality, once you marry and you technically have sex with this person, you're bound. You're spiritually bound. You became one flesh with them. God meant it to be this way. And then we come and we don't want to deal with the consequences of like, well, I don't like the way she looks anymore, or I don't like the way he looks anymore, or we get age. We grow older.
So it's a covenant. That's why it's very important. It's not a marriage is not something to be taken lightly, even if the world doesn't care for it. Even if the world tells you can just go get a divorce. You could just do no.
Which I mean, to the world you can.
So if you're a believer, this is what we're talking about. Okay, if you're not, then this isn't really for you, because you're not. I mean, you can come in and watch this video, but what I'm saying is that if you're a part of the world, because I mean we're all part of the world, we're just not of the world, right? As believers, but if you're a believer, this is what God wants for you. It's not us making it up. I mean, shoot, sometimes I'm like, divorce would be
simpler.
It is simpler.
It is simpler. Yeah. No, it is, because honestly, being married to the one person all the rest of your life, just thinking about it, it's just overwhelming. But every day, one day at a time, and God gives us the strength and the knowledge, which applies to wisdom, to be able to. But so here we are. The only thing we want to talk today is that marriage isn't godly. Divorce is not godly.
And just to add to that, none of this is convenient. None of it is, right? The walk, being a Christian, it's almost never convenient. It's always about servitude. It's always about selflessness. It's always about, let me put his needs before mine. Even as awful as that sounds, and I'm not saying, oh, you can't have your self-care, you can't have your me time, and there is a time and a place for that. However, if all you're thinking about is that, and not how to serve your husband or how to take care of your children and how to add to that, then your house will fall apart, right? Like you kind of have to be intentional about what you do. But
as a man, to add as well, we have to be leaders. We have to, everything that is in that household, if you're allowing your wife to take command of it, you're still responsible for it.
But we're going to talk about that in later parts as well, because that's a whole topic of how the man can be the head of the household, how the man can be respected, and how the woman can be loved. Because I want to be loved, he wants to be respected. So, okay. We did want to talk about the only reason or the only way that you can actually get a divorce. And that's going to be in Matthew
5:31.
5:31.
Furthermore, it has been said, whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. We just talked about this, right?
Yes.
But I say to you that whoever divorces his wife for any reason except sexual immorality causes her to commit adultery. And whoever marries a woman who has a divorce commits adultery. So I mean, if you get cheated on, I'm sorry, but that's it.
Mine says
That
fornication, like that would be the only cause. And I mean, we know fornication to be you have sex with somebody that's not your partner. So if I go and have sex with someone, have an affair, I go have, even if it's just one time, right? He's all in his right to say bye, like to just divorce me,
yeah.
basically. Yeah, and we want to always keep these videos pretty short. We're not trying to go on a rant. We're trying to keep them pretty concise to the point.
If you guys want to comment or maybe put in your own opinion about these texts that we read about, that'd be great too, because we're always up for learning. As much as we want to teach, me and my wife have been married for over 14 years. And we got 3 kids. We've gone through some hardships. We've learned how to deal with certain things, so that's why we want to spread these messages to other people that maybe we can help. We can, hey, you know what, we can come together, we can help you in certain situations. We would love more, because a godly marriage is the way of the future. It's being lost in today's society where divorcing, remarrying, that it's become so second nature to us nowadays.
And we're ruining our kids in the process. They are the ones that are seeing that this is normal. Like, I'm divorced. I mean, my parents are divorced, so that means that I can go divorced one day. And you know what? They might not actively say that, but they have it in the back of their mind because it's something that stays with you.
So. And want to remember, like with our wives or our husbands, that we know who our enemy is, because that's very important. Most of us sometimes don't know who our enemy is. We think our wives are our enemy, or our husbands are out to get us, or they don't let me do whatever I want to do, or etc. That's not, our enemy isn't one another. The enemy is the enemy. Learn who your enemy is. If you want to add something else.
No, just that marriage is so hard, and this is why we're doing this, because there's so many things that I wish I would have been told. That's it. Basically, marriage is hard, and we're here to, if we can add anything, even save one marriage, even change one perspective, that we've done our job. And I say that with as much as, like, I know people say this all the time, but really, really, we're here to advance the kingdom, and that's it. That is it.
The enemy tries to destroy marriages every day, because that's the best way he's going to win.
Amen.
But God's winning. He already won. Yeah. Jesus already won.
Actually, that's true. He's there. The victory is there. We have victory. The enemy's just trying to, he's angry, right? He wants to take as many of you to hell as he can.
Of us. Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm already
you,
saved.
us,
I'm saved.
all of us. All right, guys. Well, okay. Thank you very much for viewing, and have a rest of your wonderful day.
Have a wonderful rest of your day, because you said it backwards.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye. But this one doesn't say anything about the immorality part, so maybe we should find that one too.
So, the fly.
Oh, damn. How long was it there? I don't know. That's bad.